Alright, guys. I know it's been a while since I've done a video like this, me talking to you guys on camera. But I'm in a mood to do one. So that's what I'm going to do. But first, I just thought I'd catch you up on a few things about what's been going on. So, as you can see, I got my hair cut. It was back on the 31st. And the day before yesterday, which was the 7th, I finally got my first vaccine dose. The reason it took so long is because I didn't have an ID, but my mom finally sent us our ID, or my ID. It was a school ID, but thankfully they accepted it, and I was finally able to get it. Although I still had to wait a couple of weeks because they ran out of vaccines. But man, I was so happy that I was such in a good mood when I finally got my first vaccine dose. I got Pfizer's. My second dose is due on the 28th. For the side effects, I got really lucky. I did get a little bit of a sore arm, but it was just like a tiny bit sore. It did feel a little funny doing certain things with my arms, but it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It was just a tiny bit of soreness. Way less than I expected. And I did have a little bit of pain in the upper arm area where they injected the medicine when I would lay on it. But that's about it, I say the first the side effects, I had it pretty easy. Now it's usually the second the second shot that gives you the intense side effects. So we'll see. I might make a video talking about my experiences with the side effects. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to see. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know about that before getting into the video. So as you can tell by the title, this is going to be part 2 of my Things I Hate series. And on part 1, I left off, the last thing I talked about was getting blamed and accused of something I didn't do. So, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is not knowing the time of my dentist appointment. Oh my gosh. This stresses me out so freaking much. Luckily, I know both the date and the time of my next dentist appointments coming up. But there was this time on August 31st of last year. I literally did not know the time of my dentist appointment until the last minute. I did not know until the freaking day of it, and I think I overslept. I didn't have much time to get ready. And oh my gosh, it was just a crazy day that day. It was a crazy day for my grandma too, she's the one that usually takes me to dentist appointments and brings me back, because like I have them during the week, like, you know, in the mornings, in the afternoons, in the early afternoons, which my dad has work. So, yep, it's Nana who usually takes me and brings me back. But yeah, it stresses me out. Like, I want to know in advance. That way I'll know when to get up, and I can like be prepared as far as like sleeping and waking up goes. Because if you don't know, then it's very easy to oversleep. Or, I don't know, some people may stay up all night, and yeah, it is very stressful not knowing the times of your appointments. Not just dentist appointments, you know, this really goes for any appointments, but I've only had to deal with this with dentist appointments, you know. So yeah. I lost my train of thought. But yes, it is, you know, nothing much else to say, you know, but, you know, make sure, I don't know, if you're like a guardian, you know, if you still have like a daughter, a granddaughter, a son, a grandson, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, whatever, or a foster child, whatever, if you help them with their appointments, unless you absolutely can't, please give them the time and the date in advance, the date and the time in advance. That way it will be a lot easier for them to be prepared and get ready at the right time. You know, luckily I know the date of my next one and the time, which is September 16th. And I know the time too. I don't really remember it, but I do know that I have the time on my phone. So that's good. And then I have one in December that I already know the time of. So, you know, that's good. But yeah, it is very stressful not knowing about that. If it's like, you know, of course you're not always going to know, you know, it takes time for these to get fully planned, but I'm talking about like when it gets to be the day before and the day on, then yeah, that's when it gets stressful, you know. It's good to have both the date and the time, at least, you know, the day before in advance. That way they'll know what time to go to sleep, wake up, and get ready, and all that good stuff. So yeah, this next one kind of ties into my last point, actually. Doctors and dentist appointments. Oh my goodness, God. I cannot stand going to, you know, medical appointments. I go to the dentist a lot, you know. I don't really have to, it's been a while since I've been to the doctor, but I don't know if the dentist is considered a doctor. Some people do, some people don't, but, you know, I haven't, you know, it's been like a long time since my last doctor's appointment, unless me getting my vaccine counted, but I don't think that does. But yeah, I have to go to the dentist quite often because, you know, my grandma is really, really strict with me about my teeth. So, you know, she plans them a lot for me. And yeah. The main thing that stresses me the hell out about dentist appointments is, like, wondering if, you know, like, how is my performance on my teeth going, you know, like, I'm worried that, you know, that they're gonna think that I'm not doing a good job of taking care of my teeth because, you know something, guys? Dental upkeep is something I do struggle with. I do struggle with dental upkeep. Sorry, getting distracted. But yeah, I do struggle with dental upkeep, so that is the main thing that stresses me out about dentist appointments. And sometimes when they sometimes they'll, like, poke, when they're, like, looking at your teeth, they'll poke in your mouth, which can be, you know, sometimes it can hurt, and it kind of just, not like bad, but just kind of like, ugh. Like, getting poked at the gum lines it just makes me winch sometimes. Like, poke, ugh. You know what I mean? And of course the x-rays, you know, that's how they find cavities and whatnot. Another thing that I fucking hate about the dentist is sometimes they check your blood pressure, which I don't know what your blood pressure has to do with your teeth, but that's what they do when I go to the dentist sometimes, you know. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but my dad and my brother are talking about stuff in there. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, you know, having my blood pressure taken, worried about getting bad results, you know. I am trying to get better at, like, brushing my teeth, you know, because, you know, it seems like it's just easy, but, like, if you want to, but, like, you have to, like, do it thoroughly if you want, like, really good results from the dentist, you know. You know, that was one of my struggles, but, you know, I'm trying to get better at that. My main struggle is flossing. You know, that's the main struggle I have about going to, you know, about, like, you know, dental upkeep. I have a hard time with flossing. And I actually have cavities in between my teeth. Ugh. Yeah, I remember I think it was April 7th that they found out I had cavities. And I had a dentist appointment that day, and they did x-rays. You know, they did x-rays just, you know, just to see. And it turns out I had, like, some cavities. So yeah, that's actually what my next dentist appointment is. They're gonna fill in a cavity on this side, then they're going to do the other side. Because they don't want to do both sides at once, because then my whole mouth will be numb. They're going to do one side at a time. So only one part of my mouth is numb, and I'm not too overwhelmed by numbness. But yeah, and then like my grandma and my dad would get upset with me. Or be, I get it. They're just trying to, look out, make sure I'm doing good, but getting mad at them and like constantly like nagging them and, getting upset with them, getting upset with somebody, constantly nagging someone and not trying to be understanding, that's not going to help. It's good to at least try to be understanding when it comes to those things. Because like I said, I think flossing is the main struggle I have when it comes to this stuff. Especially because, I think my bottom teeth are a bit overcrowded, It's a lot harder to get the dental floss in there. So yeah, that's why I hate dentist appointments is, getting my blood pressure taken, getting poked in the mouth, and wondering if I'm doing a bad job or not. Or a good job, bad or not, whatever. So yeah, and I don't know. At least the blood pressure thing that, the ones like in actual hospitals are like these big bulky things. Thank God they don't use those, because oh my God, those things fucking hurt. At least it's just a little thing that goes around your wrist. But still, I still don't like having my blood pressure taken because it like squeezes your wrist. Plus, I'm worried that I'll have high blood pressure. That's something I worry about. So yeah, those are the main reasons I hate the dentist. And I get it, like, no offense, I mean, I don't know if any dentists are watching this video, but I just want to say this. I mean, no offense to any dentist, to any, like, people out there, like, people in the dental industry. I get what they're trying to do. They're helping us keep our teeth healthy, our gums healthy, all that good stuff. But I don't know, it's just, it's just something I struggle with. So yeah. As for other appointments, like I said, it's been a while since I've had like other doctor's appointments. But my grandma did say that she's planning to schedule an eye appointment for me soon. Why, you may ask? I don't have trouble seeing, don't get me wrong. I can see just fine. She just wants to see if my eyes are healthy, But yeah. But I remember Dale saying that one of the reasons why he doesn't like getting eye exams is because he's worried that they're going to make him get glasses. And honestly, I have that fear too, I'm worried that some of the letters will be too small for me to read. And they're going to make me get glasses, which hopefully that doesn't happen. And some of the font style too, if you look at, I don't know what, sorry. I don't know what they're called. Are they called the eye charts? I don't know, but those things where you know, where there's like letters and stuff, you know. There's like really large letters, and then like as it goes down, the letters get a lot smaller. You know, those things. I don't know. I don't know what they're called. I call them eye charts. But yeah, sometimes the letter like sorry, I can't speak. Some of the letters, even up close, like depending on the font style, may look like another letter.
Let's go! Let's go!
Good God, they get a bit overreactive when it comes to football. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you know, like I said, I can see just fine, but like, you know, some eye charts are just harder to read from than others. Luckily though, from what my grandma said, which I call her Nana, they're gonna have me look through a vein because I don't see the point in having someone read small ass letters from far away, you know. You know, up close I can understand, like, you know, like when you're reading a book or like looking into a thing, you know, that's understandable. You know, I much prefer to do that than to cover my eye and look at an eye chart. Because that's another thing too, is, you know, covering your eye may make it harder to see clearly. So it's just better to look through a thing with letters instead. I'm sure that will be a lot easier for me. So yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking about what else to say. But yeah. Looking through a thing is a lot easier, you know. I remember I had to get eye exams and ear exams at school every 2 years, and it wasn't a big deal. But I am worried. But I don't know. I just worry about that kind of medical stuff. Like, I'm worried about how my eye exam will go. Like, are my eyes healthy, you know? I worry about that stuff. So yeah. Okay, that's all I'm gonna talk about for doctors and dentist appointments. The next thing I have on this list is getting yelled at. I cannot stand getting yelled at, guys. Like, seriously. Getting yelled at is something I'm very sensitive to. You know, I've done a couple of rants. I've actually done like 2 rants about it on this channel. You know, I'm a very sensitive person. So when I get like yelled at, like there's times it'll literally make me cry. Like, you know, I know it's usually something a little kid would do, but I do that too, and I'm like 23. You know. I don't know if it's a spectrum thing, you know. I think it's because a lot of people on the spectrum have sensory issues. You know, that could be why. Because I am on the spectrum myself. You know. And a lot of people who are on the spectrum have like sensitivity issues, hypersensitivity issues. So, yeah. But yeah, I can understand, like, if someone is just like being downright downright unreasonable, then don't yell at them, you know? I can understand, like, you know, if someone's, like, being just a total pain in the ass, if they're just being, like, I don't know, a jerk for no reason, then yes, you know, sometimes it may be necessary to yell at someone. But don't yell at them for stupid reasons or just because you're frustrated about something, you know. Especially that, like, you know, if it's normal to be, like, angry, you know. We're humans. We have emotions. I get that, you know. It's normal to get angry sometimes, but don't take your anger out on someone, you know? That is just downright that is just unacceptable. You know, I've told stories about getting yelled at before on my I've told the ones I remember the most already, you know. I can't really remember some stories that I haven't already told, but I'll probably just retell one of my stories because I can't really think of a story I haven't told yet. But yeah, you know, I'll tell the one that happened back in 2017. You know, I've told this story 4 times already. 2 of, you know, my 2 getting yelled at videos, and then my 2 long road trip videos. And I'm gonna tell it again because I don't know. This is just the most memorable incident for me. So, you know, so I honestly don't mind telling this story again. You know, sometimes there's just memories that are just so stuck in our head that we don't really mind if having to tell them over and over again. But yeah, it was all right. I can't remember the exact. Sorry, I have like the hiccups or something. I can't remember the exact like date, but I think it was like at the beginning of May 2017. I think it was. I think it was May 2017 is when this incident happened. You know, it was morning. My dad was getting ready to leave for work. You know, I heard them arguing about something. I wasn't sure what they were arguing about. The only thing I can remember, like, overhearing was my dad talking about, like the RV and, like, cooking me breakfast or something, you know. Something like that. So then, after my dad leaves, you know, shortly afterwards, I go into my mom's room. You know, which I don't know if this wouldn't have happened if I didn't go in there, or if it would have just happened later. You know, I'll never know, and I can't remember what made me want to go into my mom's room. I guess there's to talk to her about something. I don't know. I can't really remember what made me want to go in there, but she then talks to me about You know, how she told my dad about how I didn't want to go on this long ass road trip. You know. She was like, I talked to your dad about how you didn't want to go to Virginia. And you know, and I was like, oh my God, because I knew something like this was going to happen eventually. You know, I knew eventually my mom was going to talk to my dad about me not wanting to go, and then my dad making a big deal about it, and then him and my mom arguing, and then her being brainwashed, and then, like, you know, her basically saying I should be forced to go. So when she brought it up, I was like, oh boy. And then, like, deep down, like, not out loud, but, like, you know, to myself, I was like, oh boy, here it comes. And then, like, out loud, I was like, I can't remember what I said, but I was like, oh my gosh. And then my mom was like, no, just listen. You know, because at first my mom was like understanding about me not wanting to go. But then my dad tries to change her stance on it, saying why I should be forced to go. And then yeah. I can't really remember what all we said to each other, but I can remember her saying, as long as you live under this roof, you will do as we do, or I forgot, but you know, something with the whole live under the roof example, which is, I fucking hate that excuse, by the way. But yeah, I really can't remember how this argument went. I just remember her yelling at me, and then me giving reasons why I didn't want to go. And I remember crying, and then my mom was like, don't cry. And then I also remember her being like, families should do stuff together. Even 10-year-olds understand that. And, I mean, I get what she's trying to say. Like, you know, it is important to do stuff with your family. But don't force your... Oh my God. Sorry about that. Don't force your adult child to go on a freaking road trip that's like 30-something hours long. You know? That is just downright unreasonable. You know? I can understand, like, being forced to go on some, like, vacations and road trips. Like, I don't know, like, let's say you have grandparents and then they live, like, you know, they're not even that far away. You know, that's understandable because the drive isn't even that long, and grandparents are family. But forcing your adult child to go on a road trip half-ass across the country, you know, to people that aren't even family, they're your friends, but not like our friends, you know, there is no reason that you should, like, force someone to do that. If they want to go, then fine. If they don't, then respect that. You know what I mean? You know, I'm actually gonna I'm actually gonna get into that next. Actually, after the getting yelled at story, I may talk more about. I may talk about this again in my next video, because I think I'm gonna leave it off as getting yelled at. But yeah, you know. But yes, I remember her yelling at me about not wanting to go, and I remember crying, and I remember having my day ruined pretty much because of that. You know, that is not a reason to yell at someone not wanting to go on a stupid road trip. You know, and like unless someone's just giving you a reason to yell at somebody, then don't yell at them. You know. Like I said before, like, you know, like, or let's say like someone's trying to call me, you know. Like, I don't know, someone's like far away and then they're in another room. And then they're like calling me for something. Shauna! You know, that's a different story. That's a different story, obviously. I'm talking about, like, you know, when people are yelling at you out of anger, you know. That's what I have a problem with. But yeah. And I know I'm not the only one, you know. There are a lot of people who are really sensitive to getting yelled at, you know. Or to the point where it'll make them cry. And to the point where, like, they, like, you know, like, they will, like, internalize it to where, like, it'll, like, stay with them for a while, and it'll be a hard time for them to get over it, you know. I'm one of those people, too. Like I said, I think it has to do with being on the spectrum, which I don't want people to think I'm, like, using it as an excuse, you know. That's not true. I'm just telling you, like, how it pretty much is for a lot of us, you know. I know a lot of people here on YouTube, but in fact, who are also on the spectrum, and, you know, we can relate to each other a lot. Me, the We Just Heat 96, Tyrozone 5, Super Red Elmo, Dale Susier the Man, Blake McAlpine, you know, etc., 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 etc. Our little friend circle. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna talk about for this video. I'll do part 3. I don't know when, you know. I can be really lazy when it comes to making videos, so I'm not gonna give you guys an expectancy date. Because, you know, because I can be, like I just said, I can be lazy when it comes to making videos. Plus, I'm occupied with other stuff a lot, so yeah. But I will say that I'll kick off part 3 with being forced to do certain things, which kind of tied into the end of this video. But, you know, I'll probably talk about it again, including the road trip thing. So, yeah. I'll talk to you guys later.